Good morning, Hockeytown, and welcome to another edition of the Forecheck presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. We are live from Little Caesars Arena. I'm Daniella Bruce, and as always, I'm joined by Kal. Ken, thank you for waking up early today and getting here for the Forecheck.
Daniella, I already had my 7 cups of coffee. I'm bouncing off the ceiling, and I'm ready to go this early Sunday morning.
I'm a little bit behind you. I think I've had 4 or 5 this morning, so I hope you all are at home enjoying your first or second cup of coffee, tuning into the Forecheck. And Ken, we've got a little bit of positivity to talk about here. The Red Wings were on a short road trip in Buffalo and Columbus, and they picked up a win in Buffalo. It was a really exciting game to watch, and Dylan Larkin played really well.
Certainly did. Dylan had a couple of goals in the first period and also scored in the shootout, which deemed to be the deciding goal. And, you know, the guy just continues to play well. He played 26 minutes and change in that hockey game. That's a lot of minutes for any forward in the National Hockey League. His minutes diminished in the next game against Columbus. But what a performance led by Dylan Larkin and the rest of the Red Wings. Never trailed in that hockey game and came from behind a couple of times, finally won it.
It was great to see them get a win, and we saw Dylan Larkin's goals there. That second goal from Robbie Fabry, the pass from Robbie Fabry, and then that shootout goal were similar moves there that he scored on.
Yeah, it seems like they found a weakness in the goaltender, Elliott, right there. So, yeah, the Red Wings have done a really good job, and Dylan Larkin knows how to finish, and he's done that throughout his entire career.
And you mentioned his ice time, and we saw his numbers there, just over 26 minutes of ice time. That's the most he's logged this season.
Yeah, and for any forward in the National Hockey League, usually when you play that much, you back it down the next game because it's hard to play 26 minutes in consecutive nights. Not many players can do that.
And Ken, it's nothing new here that the Red Wings have had a lot of movement between the Red Wings and the Grand Rapids Griffins. And again, yesterday, Dennis Cholowski was assigned to Grand Rapids. And we saw Gustav Lindstrom get pulled up a couple of days ago, and he played 2 games so far in the NHL. Like we said, Cholowski down to Grand Rapids. And what do you think overall about this situation for Dennis Cholowski?
Well, I don't think, first of all, he was 100%. I think he was battling a little bit of an injury. Don't know, what was tweaked, but, obviously he didn't play the last couple of games, and I believe it was because of a little bit of an injury. So, they sent him down to Grand Rapids and to rehab a little bit, and then, again, just keep playing. And that's the key for young players, Danielle, in the NHL. You got to learn how to play this game at all different levels, especially for Dennis. Got to really focus on that defensive game.
And let's go back to Gustav Lindstrom for a second. Now, he's played 2 games in the NHL so far. And what have you thought of his first 2 games as an NHLer?
Well, I was really excited about watching him play, and I really didn't know what to expect because I really didn't see him that much, but he played 12 minutes in the first game against Buffalo, and what I really liked about him is that he's pretty steady back there on the blue line. Doesn't seem to panic at all. Cholowski's the same way, too, but, he doesn't throw the puck away, very rarely does that, makes a good pass out of his own zone, and looks pretty steady for an 18-year-old back there.
Well, it was good for the Red Wings to pick up a win on the road in Buffalo, lost in Columbus just a couple of nights ago, but it's not going to be an easy task with the Boston Bruins in town today at Little Caesars Arena, and they are led by 3 of arguably the best players in the NHL. You've got David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, and Patrice Bergeron. Pastrnak is 3rd in the league in goals and points right now.
Yeah, he's been really good. He's been slowing down a little bit in that goal department because Austin Matthews and Ovechkin finally passed him, and it seemed like all year long David Pastrnak was the man that was in front of everybody. But, dynamic hockey player, you always got to keep an eye on him. Brad Marchand, he's the big disturber out onto the ice. I think everybody in the National Hockey League doesn't like him except the fans in the Boston area. But, he produces, and he's a very solid hockey player. Patrice Bergeron, just amazing. I mean, he wins faceoffs more than 50% of the time. He's a great two-way player. And I think if you're a young center in the National Hockey League, and the Red Wings have a couple of them, you look at Patrice Bergeron, you say, I want to be just like him because he plays the game the right way for a center iceman.
And you mentioned Brad Marchand being a producer, and specifically against the Red Wings, he always seems to produce. In his 29 games against Detroit, he has 29 points.
Yeah, and I think the last time we were here, it was him and Roenick were battling and sparring. So keep an eye on those 2 fellas for the hockey game tonight. But again, he's just a solid competitor out there, and he'll try to do everything he can to get under your skin, make more room for himself, and he's been successful doing that all in his career in the National Hockey League.
And Boston is on top of the Atlantic Division right now. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference playoff standing. So if the playoffs happen today, this is the situation that we would be in. As I said, Boston is on top of that Atlantic Division, and they've got 5 points more than the Lightning. But if you take a look at their numbers, the Lightning actually have more regulation wins.
Yes, and the Bruins have lost a lot in overtime, but pick up those extra points. The thing about the Bruins is they struggled for a while, and it didn't seem like anybody was ever going to catch the Washington Capitals as far as total points. But, the Bruins have come back. They're starting to put a winning streak together, and they've got solid goalkeeping, too, in Yaroslav Halak and also Tuukka Rask. You look at their save percentages, .921 for Halak and .930 for Tuukka Rask. And not only that, but their blue line core, they can generate some points, and they're led offensively by Torrey Krug. He was a Michigan native, and this is a big year for him because he's an unrestricted free agent, and I'm sure he's going to test the market, but he's been having a terrific year as well.
Ken, taking a look at those playoff standings, you can see that Boston can't afford to go on any kind of losing streak or anything like that. So they're going to be coming out strong today here in Detroit. What are the Red Wings going to have to do to kind of hang with Boston tonight?
Well, I don't know what time the Bruins came into Detroit last night. They played a late afternoon game against the Arizona Coyotes in Boston. It was a 3 o'clock game, so I would imagine they got in pretty late, so maybe that'll help the Red Wings out. But, you go back to the first time these two teams met earlier in the season here in Detroit, nobody gave the Red Wings a chance, but yet the Red Wings found a way to win. So that's the National Hockey League. You just don't know on a game-by-game basis and scheduling and everything else what's going to happen. But again, the Red Wings just have to try to make those offensive players play in their own zone a little more if they can do that. And I think the Red Wings need to generate more offense, more shots on goal. You can't win too many hockey games with just 16 shots on goal, and that's what the Red Wings had in their last 2 times that they were shut out.
And I think Robbie Fabry played pretty well against the Bruins the last time they were in town. He had his first 2 goals as a Red Wing.
Yeah, that was really good for Robbie Fabry. And again, he's been playing some good hockey as well for Detroit.
All right, guys. Well, we're looking forward to a nice Original 6 matchup today here at Little Caesars Arena. If you're not coming down to the game, puck drop is at 12:30, and you can catch today's broadcast on NBC. Or, of course, you can tune into 97.1 The Ticket and listen to your very own Ken Kal. I hope you're all still enjoying that coffee. Ken, we might need to go get another cup, right?
Espresso. That's what I need.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.